Welcome back to the Road to National series. In today's episode, I'm going to take you through an upper max workout. So my max effort variation for this week was a banded board press. I've been doing a lot of banded board presses recently. I'm trying to work on my absolute strength and doing heavier variations than a traditional bench press so that when I go back to a regular bench press, I'm used to handling heavier weights. It gives you loads of confidence when you come to unrack the weight and just helps you have great neurological adaptation. So there I hit 145 kilos. It was fairly comfortable. Now, if you were paying attention, you might have seen that black Odyssey mat suddenly appeared, even though I didn't place it there. That was actually because I was having some unracking difficulties, and then I had to move the mat and play around. I just edited that out because it's not particularly interesting to watch. But I would have gone for a heavier weight. That 145 moved pretty good, and I would have gone for 150 kilos, and I think I might have been able to hit that. However, because I was having unracking issues, as it gets heavier and heavier, it actually compresses the pad in the bench pad, so I can't like unrack the weight. So I could go one down, but my rack only has 3-inch hole spacing, so it's a bit annoying. I might look at trying to like drill an extra hole in the rack. That's why competition racks are so good, because they have such close spacing of the holes. You get the perfect height, and it really does make a difference, particularly when trying to do max efforts. But I was happy with 145 kilos. That was still a very good, comfortable PR, and if I had hit 150, that would have actually matched the amount that was my previous max with less band tension. So I'd have done that with more band tension today, but I was still very happy with 145. So a successful max effort there. Then moving on to the first accessory here, I've been doing JM press at 70 kilos for 2 sets of 10. So I have done sets of 10 on the JM press at this weight before. However, I've not done JM presses in a while. I've been doing more sort of overhead Swiss bar extensions and things like skull crushers. So I felt a little bit of out of practice just with the JM press. It still moved well, and I think I was doing slightly stricter form than I used to. I'm trying to keep the bar at least over my sort of nose and mouth when coming down. That is what helps keep it a JM press rather than sort of slowly descending into a close grip press. If you allow the bar to drift down over your neck or over your chest, it is basically just a close grip press. So you're trying to keep the elbows flared forward and a little bit out to the side and the bar high up over your head, and it definitely felt like it hit the triceps effectively. You can see I was finding that challenging, so that went well. Then moving on to the next accessory here, I had close, slightly supinated mag grip lat pull downs at 200 pounds. I think I did 2 sets of 10, and I did these pretty strict. I was trying to minimize body movement. Obviously I have to move back a bit, otherwise the handle couldn't pass past my head. And the last reps, as you can see, I didn't manage to pull it all the way to the chest. So it basically was training to failure without doing like anything like a drop set, which is true failure. That's also a concept that people talk about, like what is actually training to failure. There I hit failure at that weight and at that sort of technique and not rocking back a load. But if I'd wanted and I'd done a load of drop sets, I could definitely have eked more. So it wasn't true failure, but that's not what I'm trying to do for powerlifting. If I completely destroy myself with my accessories, I've not then recovered well enough for my max and dynamic efforts, which are the main things I want to be recovered for. So anyway, those lat pull downs went well. Then moving on to the next accessory here, I did chest press. So I did 274 pounds, which is towards the heavier end for me in general. In the first week back after a deload, I tried to go heavy on my accessories, and I managed to get a set of 9 and like sort of a quarter on the first set. I wanted to try and hit a set of 10, but didn't quite manage it. And then on this second set, I think I only got like a set of 6 or 7. It was a massive grind. I've spoken about this loads, but my strength drops off massively, particularly on this chest press, because you start in that bottom position and have to press it up. It saps so much of your energy. So for instance, if the chest press started in like a locked out position, some machines do allow you to do that. They have like a foot plate that you can push so that you start in the top position. I'd have probably easily got 10 reps on that first set, and on the second set I'd have probably at least got sets of 8. But anyway, That's fine. It doesn't matter too much. You just need to compare your progression week to week. So that is the chest press I have access to, and that's what I get. I get a little less reps than I would have done if I had like a lockout unrack and then I could do the eccentric first, but it's fine. That is why the strength though dropped massively off from 9 reps to 6 reps between the sets, and I was happy with that. The 9 reps is the most I've ever been able to get at that weight before. Then the next accessory here was overhead dumbbell press. I tried it seated on this box in the deload week with 20 kilo dumbbells, so I decided to do it that to be my variation. Normally I do overhead dumbbell presses standing, but I did it seated. It was much harder because the weight is heavier. Stability was an issue. You see, on the first set I tried to like kick the weights up standing and then sit down. That felt terrible. The second set I just kicked the weights straight up, but because there's no backrest, stability in the bottom position and trying not to fall backwards became more of the limiting factor. So I think in future I'll just do it off my bench and have a bit of a back pad to lean back against, but still felt great. And actually the most I've been able to do, I got 2 sets of 10 at those 30 kilo dumbbells, which is more than I've been able to do on a dumbbell shoulder press before. Then the next accessory here was dumbbell bicep curls. So I stuck with the 30 kilo dumbbells. I tried to go heavy on these. So I've never successfully managed to curl the 30 kilo dumbbells before on this like preacher curl variation using the bench pad. I have tried it before and I've just failed on the first rep every time. So here I managed to get 2 sets of 4 per arm. So I was very happy with that. Now it was very challenging, as you can see, and I wasn't quite like fully extending my arm before curling it back up. If I did that, there is absolutely no way that I would have been able to get the weight back up. Once the arm is like pretty much fully extended, it is so hard on this variation to curl it up. But what I try and do is at least break parallel with my forearm every time. I think that is a solid range of motion. And today, obviously, I was focusing on using a heavier weight rather than trying to maximize the range of motion. But yeah, it felt great. It also marks a huge improvement in the bicep strength. The 30 kilo dumbbells on this is pretty crazy. I think I was doing the 15 kilo dumbbells at the beginning of the year, probably a bit more comfortably than this, but I could barely do the 20 kilo dumbbells. So to be lifting like 1.5 times the weight that I was at the beginning of the year, 6-7 months ago, is massive improvements. And that's because I didn't train my biceps for about like 2 or 3 years. I didn't do any dedicated training for them because I was focusing on powerlifting and they're not essential for powerlifting. But since I've reintroduced them into my training, I have got so much stronger at them. So I was happy with those. A massive PR there for me on that accessory. So moving on to the final accessory, I decided to do an exercise I haven't done before. So in my deload week, I did a few sort of like V twists, like side to side twisting, crunch type things. And the reason for that is I'm wanting to start incorporate more twisting ab movements. At the moment, I've just been doing like straight ab movements, like regular sit-ups or crunches, or isometric holds, but now I'm wanting to start introduce twisting variations. They're slightly more challenging. Like these felt really hard. The reason I'm moving quite slowly is I didn't feel comfortable moving faster. It was like a range of motion and a movement pattern that I am not used to. I could sort of contract upwards a bit faster, but lowering down, it was very precarious for me. So I did find these very challenging on the abs. I got 2 sets of 10, so 5 on each side per set, and my abs are a little sore at the time of recording this voiceover, which is the next day, but that is to be expected with doing a sort of new type of variation. And the reason I'm wanting to do more of this and develop the obliques more, which are like the twisting side parts of your abs, is they're very useful when it comes to bracing. So obviously for powerlifting, that is very useful as well. So that is why I'm wanting to help strengthen them, as well as the regular rectus abdominis and transverse abdominis. So that is it for today's video. I hope you did in fact enjoy the video. If you did, drop it a like, drop it a comment, subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff, and I hope you have a great day.